welcome into the kitchen. Brenda Doobie with me today from United Market Street, United Supermarkets. We are doing a queso recipe, but this is not just any queso, huh?
No. Okay, it's time of year for parties and appetizers. Right. Look, and I love queso as much as the next person, but I have to find a way to make it a little healthier.
Okay.
So we're actually going to saute up a little bit of green onions this time, which we don't normally do. It's a little bit more of a mild flavor, but it's going to have a really pretty color. If you don't like green onions, regular green onions is fine.
Okay.
Okay, in a food processor, I already pureed up some beans. And you can keep going in the food processor, but it's kind of loud on TV, so I didn't want to do that.
What do you do? Cannellini beans or
cannellini beans? Yeah, that reminded me of that. Cannellini beans. They're a large white bean.
Okay.
So I just pureed them up. I just put in about a quarter cup of light sour cream.
Okay.
And you could use Greek yogurt. And then I'm putting in here some goat cheese.
Now that goat cheese, what does it have in it?
It has jalapenos in it.
Oh, that sounds nice.
That saved me the step of having to chop jalapenos.
Okay, so if you can't find that,
you can just goat cheese and chop a couple jalapenos and put it on there, depending on the heat level that you want. Okay, so you would stir those together a little bit. So what I also did is I added a couple tablespoons of beef broth. You can use chicken broth as well to kind of loosen up those beans. Now I'm going to also add it to, actually before I do that, let me do this. Let me add the flour in there.
Flour to the onions?
To the onions and a little bit of oil, and we're going to kind of cook that up because it's going to help thicken this a little bit. You want to grab and stir that up and just kind of let that cook up, usually just a couple of minutes with a little bit of oil, and then we're going to add the beef broth slowly. And then, you know, I didn't blend this up in the blender or a food processor like I normally would, but the cheese will melt down.
Got it.
So that just is thickening up pretty quick. We're going to add this, and then we're just going to let it cook and let those flavors meld all together.
That's really interesting putting the flour in there because it does thicken it up with that beef broth.
Right, but we don't need a lot of cheese to do it. And the goat cheese is a really strong flavor without having to use a ton of cheese. And it's something that usually a lot of people that can't tolerate like a cow dairy type thing can tolerate goat cheese and goat dairy.
So interesting.
The lactose is a little bit less, and it's easier for people to digest. You just let that cook down, let everybody think what a good cook you are, and that you worked really hard to slave over a hot stove to get them some queso. So it gives you a great texture, great flavor. I mean, who doesn't like bean dip, right? So it's kind of like a bean cheese dip.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then I put a little bit of green onions to make it look beautiful and appetizing. And then I had to grab some multigrain chips here, so we had a little bit of good nutrition in there.
So talk to me, how good are they? Are those okay? Is it okay?
Yeah, they are better. So they have some flaxseed in them, some sunflower seeds, some chia seeds. So it does add a little bit of good nutrition. I mean, if you're going to eat some chips, you may as well sneak in a little nutrition in there. Okay. And they have a great flavor in there. So,
I mean, I love those chips, but I feel like I'm justified in eating it. Maybe you shouldn't eat as many as you do, right?
Well, yeah, you still have to count. It's still the same amount of calories and everything like that. It's just a little more punch for your bite.
A little extra.
Yeah,
they look.
There you go.
It's delicious.
So you just do that and stick some chips in there.
Get more of Brenda's great recipes over on the website and find all kinds of great tips and tricks at United Market Street. Brenda, thanks so much for being here today. We always appreciate your recipes. Everybody, come back and see us on Monday. We're going to have a special New Year's Eve edition of Studio 4. Amberly will be in studio. We've got live music playing for you from Garrett Bryan before his Golden Light show. Plus, we'll operate like a champion, and we've got a leadership corner, a special New Year's edition. We hope to see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.